Hey, what's going on, guys? I haven't done a build video in a while. I thought I'd do a video of this kind of a post-mortem build video of this really nice kit that I got from a friend of mine, Albert. He sent me this to build for him, and I was always into RoboCop. This is from the 80s movie RoboCop. This is an ED-209 model from a company I really never heard of. It's called Moderoid. I'm sure if you're into RoboCop models and stuff, you've probably seen this. It's a new kit. He actually bought it from Japan, and I had it sent. He had it sent to me directly. You can buy it now on Amazon, but they're backward. I actually ordered another one for myself because I liked it so much. But it's actually like a Bandai kit. So if you built Bandai kits, you know how well they fit together and everything kind of works, and that's the way this one is. So it's very clean. The parts are extremely well made. There's no difficulty in building this at all. And the cool part is that it's really fully articulated. You can move the arms, the guns, the legs. You can adjust the height. There's a lot going on with this thing, so you can pose it in different positions. So I'm just going to explain the way I built it. That might help if you have some issues trying to get the color right. I think I did. So I'll show you what I used to get the color and how I got some the details from the screenshots that I took from the movie, so I could make it as close as possible to the whatever model they used. Let me give you a closer shot of this thing. So the box is all it's Pro. The instructions are really good. No issues with the build. I just wanted to explain the way I built it. So if you have it and you're building it, maybe you can get some sort of maybe something out of it, and just make it a little easier for you to build, and make it look like you want it to. So I'll show you a closer look at this thing, and I'll show you the details that I really didn't have any problems with it. Just some minor issues that I'll explain that you can get around to increase the accuracy. But otherwise, it looks good as is. You can build it out of the box and paint it, and you'd be fine. So I'll show you a little closer view of it. All right, I'm having some video camera issues. I'm hoping this is recording, or I'm like wasting my time, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so the instructions. All this stuff's in Japanese, right? So if you don't know, I'm sure a lot of people know this, but if you use your smartphone, you can download the Google Translate app, and you can focus in on the text, and you can translate this. I only used it for certain parts. There were some parts that didn't make sense, so I kind of went through and kind of focused on the text, and it told me what to do. I mean, it's not like perfect. It'll tell you like enough information where you can figure it out. So if you're a little confused about what it's telling you to do, it's definitely better than nothing, and it's easier than learning Japanese. So I just kind of use that to guide me along in some of these steps. The only thing that was really confusing was there were some parts that were the instructions are good, but they're not perfect. So there's some parts that I was a little confused about. You have to do a lot of things twice, and the pipe or the wiring, they were nice enough to give you some wire with it, which was really cool because you can just use that here. These are the this includes some extra stuff that I had made, but this is the kind of stuff that they give you. It's like a, they give you pieces of wire, and they tell you where it goes, from A to B. So you have to kind of figure out where, you want where the wire should run. But this wire is kind of thick, so in some of the parts that it was supposed to run to, the hole wasn't big enough. So I had to either drill out the hole or use a smaller gauge wire, which I did in a couple of spots because I think it looks better. It's more to scale. This is like 30. This is like 30 gauge, really small electric wire, and that looks kind of better in some of the spots. So on the guns, there's a bunch of small wires here that go in that weren't included. So if you look at the movie, you'll see like there's a bunch of wires going. They're bare, and they're going from here to here. I added those. These are the smaller wires that I added on the sides. And don't do what I did. Make sure you bend the gun before you put the wires in, because otherwise they'll be too short. So you'll have to redo them like I did, because I wasn't thinking. And these are the other ones here in the back. There's 3 black wires that go from, these holes to these holes, which is pretty simple. And one thing I did add was they actually molded some wires on the feet. Okay, what I was saying I was rudely interrupted by my camera memory card was full, so I had to empty it. They do mold some wires in these black pieces that go under the feet, but they don't look very good. So even if you painted them, they wouldn't be very prominent. So when he's like trying to go down the steps in the movie, you see these wires. So I added those. There's like some red and some green wires coming out and some black ones. I also added some black wires on the back here, on the back of his feet here. And I don't know if you can see them. So there's 2 there and 2 on the back here, just to add some accuracy, because I think I saw those somewhere on him. So that's good for the wiring. I didn't do, I didn't go crazy, but I just added some more. So for the build, when I had all the parts, assembled for the components, so there's the 5 components: the legs, the arms, and the body. And then there's this other piece that the body sits on that the legs kind of push into. I primered everything. I wrote this all down. So I used a black primer. I used Vallejo black primer. I primed everything. This piece you can attach at the end if you want. It's just like a cover, and I had a hard time trying to get this right because I think it's semi-gloss. I think I got it right. And there's some metal. It looks like a screen. So I kind of had a hard time with it because I painted it silver and then I painted it black and then I tried to scrape off some of the black. But ultimately I think it looks pretty good. There's some silver that's showing, and overall it's a sort of like a semi-gloss black. The main sort of like bluish gray color. What I did after everything was painted black, I hit it with a Tamiya light blue color. I used all acrylics on this except for the metallics. So this is an acrylic Tamiya light blue. So I hit all the parts that you see here that are kind of bluish gray with this. And that, of course, is a little too bright. So I knocked it down after I had painted the blue. Oh, I don't have it. Hold on. All right, I should better prepare. So this is a color that I had misted the blue with. This is Grimy Black. This is an Archive X acrylic paint, which is beautiful paint. It's really nice. I just diluted it a little bit with some water and kind of went over a lot of the blue just to knock it down, kind of make it a little more dark, which seemed to work really well. And then, oh, for the metallic, I used old school Testers. I love this paint, and I think they're going to discontinue this stuff. But this is silver enamel. I didn't have much luck with acrylic metallic for some reason. So I like enamel metallics, and all this stuff that's silver I painted with the Testers enamel, and then weathered that down. So the way I got all these, if you look at the screenshots, the model that they use, all these rivets and screws and everything else, they're all like really prominent. So I used a wash after I had kind of went over the whole thing after it was all painted. I kind of went over it with a mist of like a matte clear coat, and then I used an enamel panel line color, which is this is black. This is really black, and this has a nice little dropper on it. You can kind of drop it in there and then take away the extra with a toothpick and some mineral spirits or paint thinner, whatever you want to use. So that's what I did, and I added a lot of that stuff to fill in all these little lines to bring out all these details that are all over the model. So I kind of went over it. All these panel lines kind of showed up after I put this stuff on, and I just removed the excess. Then I did some weathering for the guns for this area to kind of make it look like it was smoking. There's some Tamiya Weathering Master that I used, which is like, the usual Tamiya soot. I think it is soot. And then there's other parts here. There's like some areas where there's like a high gloss sort of silver parts that are kind of prominent. Here you can see there's some silver, really bright silver, especially here on the leg. There's some silver parts that look like chrome. I used a chrome pen. These things are great. These are they come in different sizes. This is a liquid chrome. You can buy the pens. This is actually a 2mm, which is pretty thick, and then they make a smaller one. I have like 3 of them. And then if you run low on them, you can buy this refill. Instead of buying a new pen, they sell like a refill, so I just buy that. I use these a lot for different stuff, and it looks really good. And you kind of have to put them on like a piece of paper to get the flow right, but when you push down, you'll see like the chrome, it really stands out, and it looks really good. So I think that's about it for the paintwork. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I think after it was all painted and detailed and everything else, I went over it again with a light coat, a clear coat of semi-gloss, and then I had applied all the decals, which were real nice. I had no issues with those. Only I think they were missing some, so I tried to find some. I don't really have them, but there was some decals. There was one here on both sides of the leg that they didn't include, which I was surprised. I tried to find something that worked, but I couldn't. So I'm not really sure if we're going to even bother putting those on. But that's about it. That's about it for the build. So that's ED-209. I'll show you the base that I made for it, just to kind of bring it to life. Okay, I lowered the exposure because there's a light on the base that is kind of bright, so it might wash out some of the color. So I just wanted to make sure that doesn't happen. So the base is like sort of like mirrors the guns. It's circular. It has this thing on the side where there's some buttons, and then there's a speaker on the back, which is overkill, but I like loud sounds. So it's behind the model. It's kind of pretty big, but I like the way it sounds. It sounds really good, and I built this whole thing kind of just to showcase the model. Typically, a lot of times, I don't put sound and all this stuff, but this model kind of lends itself to. I think it works with this particular model. I think it really adds to it. I think the sounds are cool, and I think overall, I think it works. So the switches on this, the first switch will turn on the sound card. So if you have it plugged in all the time, the sound card isn't getting power unless you turn this on. So that's enabling the sound card. So this second switch turns on this OCP logo, which I incorporated into the base, and that is running at like 9 volts. It's pretty bright. You can knock it down. 12 volts is really, really bright. It'll actually light up the whole model in a dark room. But that's at 9 volts. And then all these buttons are different sounds. So there's 4 different sounds that are I pulled from the movie that apply to, this guy. And I'll run through them. If you don't want to listen to them, fast forward. It's fine. They're not very long. So the first one is the intro to ED-209. Then there's the I'll just play them.
Fellow executives, it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to the future of law enforcement. ED-209.
Alright, that's the first one.
Mr. Kinney is going to help us simulate a typical arrest and disarming procedure. Mr. Kinney, use your gun in a threatening manner. Point it at ED-209.
Yes, sir.
Please put down your weapon. You have 20 seconds to comply.
I think you'd better do what he says, Mr. Kinney.
Okay, so he throws the gun down.
You now have 15 seconds to comply. You are in direct violation of Penal Code 113, Section 9. You now have 5 seconds to comply. 4,
Yeah, and this is my favorite one.
Somebody want to call a goddamn paramedic? Let's go, Johnson. What kind of thing? All right, don't touch him. Don't touch him! Get the other gun. He didn't hear it.
Nick, I'm very disappointed.
So that's the sounds. What I did, I bought a sound card. I love these sound cards. This is in here. So you can actually access the sound card, and you can pull out, there's a micro SD card in there that holds the sounds, so you can change them later on if you want, and just pull the board out and put a new card in, or change the card or whatever. So that's pretty much it. It's kind of a crazy display, but I think it works. So, hey, thanks for checking out, guys. I really appreciate the subscribers and the people who are watching these things. And if you have any suggestions, please let me know. And I hope everybody's doing good in this crazy time. So I'll post more stuff, and I have a lot going on with some toy repaints and some other stuff. So I'll post those as I can. Something different, something I haven't done before. There's really no point in me posting stuff that I've already done a million times. So I'll try and get creative and post some information I think may help out. But if you have any questions about this build, just feel free to contact me, and I'll be happy to help out. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time.
It's a free society. Except there ain't nothing free, because there's no guarantees, you know? You're on your own. There's a lot of jungle.